A few months ago I flew with Air France in business class from Paris to Birmingham, and as nice as the flight was, it did leave me questioning whether business class is really worth it on such a short route. Well, today I'm of course back at Birmingham Airport flying the other way to try it in economy and find out once and for all for myself. Welcome to Edgington Airborne. Let's get going. So here we are back at my local airport ahead of another flight, and if you're flying with either Air France or KLM, you'll find the check-in desks via door A. Much like my recent KLM flight, there was a long queue for bag drop, but as I was travelling light, I made a beeline for the self-service machines and headed straight upstairs to security. Although the peak summer season was drawing to a close, I was flying on a Friday morning, so wasn't too surprised that departures was relatively busy, with passengers heading off on weekend breaks. If you've not visited Birmingham before, you'll find the departure lounge to be quite comfortable with a good range of shopping and food on offer, and the airport is moving forward with renovations to improve the terminal for the future. So a quick trip through Birmingham Airport this morning. A bit of construction going on, be interesting to see what it is that's going to be happening in the departures area. But now the aircraft behind me is being prepared, so let's get on board and head to Paris. As one of the world's leading airlines, Air France of course have an extensive route network and fleet. On European routes like this one, Air France operate various aircraft from the Airbus A320 family, and a mixed fleet of Airbus and Boeing wide-body jets are used for long-haul destinations from Air France's main hub in Paris. This enables the airline to carry over 50 million passengers per year. Air France connect Birmingham with Paris several times daily, either using their own aircraft or via their partners on this route Flybe. For the cheapest fares, you'll need to choose an economy light ticket, which includes hand luggage only, and if you have a suitcase you can choose to pay for this separately or opt for a more expensive ticket which comes with additional benefits. So what can you expect on board the Air France A320 in economy? Well, as you'd expect, the cabin is arranged in a standard 3-3 layout with seats either side of the aisle. While not being a particularly modern cabin, the essentials are provided, such as reading lights and air vents in the overhead panels. While there's plenty of locker space further forward, it was a little bit more restricted here at the back of the aircraft, and if you like to enjoy the views in flight, do bear in mind that the window here in row 30 is quite offset. Thankfully the passenger in front didn't seem to mind my camera. USB power can be found on the armrests here in economy, but unfortunately it wasn't working on this particular flight. Air France provide complimentary refreshments for all passengers on board, and as expected on this morning flight with a French airline, the crew handed out croissants for breakfast, which was much nicer than the one that I tried on my recent Air Europa trip. I also appreciated that unlike my own national carrier, I didn't need my wallet to grab a drink either.
breakfast out of the way, now's a good time to take a look at the seat area that you can expect to find on board the Air France A320 in economy.
The economy light fare that I mentioned earlier doesn't include free seat selection, but as with many airlines you can choose to pay and select your preferred seat during booking via a clear and easy to use seat map. But now let's take a look at the seat itself, and the first thing to point out here on the right hand side is the coat hook. One thing to bear in mind is that when using this, your clothing will rest against the cabin sidewall, so make sure there's no dirt or muck down there first. Air France provide a small drinks holder, which I think is a very useful feature, particularly if you prefer not to have the tray table lowered during flight. If you do choose to have the table lowered, as you would have seen, there is ample space for the in-flight snack, and it can be moved closer if you need it. There is of course space to keep your drink secure should you encounter any unexpected turbulence as well. Air France offer a pouch on the front of the seat to keep your safety card in place and close to hand, and behind this is where you'll find the literature pocket, which is pretty tight, but this is mainly down to the fact the legroom was so poor my knees were jammed into the seat in front. The legroom certainly made me wonder where the measurement was taken for the 32-inch seat pitch advertised on Seat Guru. You can see here that I wasn't the only one who found the legroom on this row restrictive, but despite the lack of space, I did appreciate the adjustable headrest and the general finish of the seat. No in-flight entertainment is provided on board this route, so as usual on these European flights I flick through the in-flight magazine to pass the time. It contains some quite detailed fleet information which I personally enjoyed. There was also a feature on the Dutch low-cost airline Transavia, which is part of the Air France KLM group. Definitely an airline I plan to try in future. Air France is also a founding member of the SkyTeam Alliance, which includes airlines such as the American carrier Delta. Now I'll be flying with Delta later this year, and if you'd like to keep up to date with this experience as well as all of my future travels, make sure to follow me on social media as well as subscribing here on YouTube.
All the seatbelt signs have been switched on. We'll soon be on the ground in Paris, and make sure to stick around to the end of the video for my final thoughts on today's Air France experience, but for now, enjoy the views. And welcome to Paris after that flight with Air France. Of course, now is where I'll share with you my final thoughts on today's trip. Starting off by answering the question that I asked right at the start of this video, and that is the upgrade to business class worth the money over economy on such a short route? Frankly, the answer would have to be no, simply because you don't get to enjoy the full experience on a short route like this on a small aircraft that doesn't have, for example, flatbed seats. Long haul, if you've got the money, of course, it's probably a no-brainer. But on such a quick trip, the difference in fare can be quite large, so I'd have to say I'm quite happy with economy myself. Today's flight, it had its good and bad points, starting off with one thing that I really did like, and that was the seat design itself. I really did like the style of it, and obviously the fact that you had adjustable headrest is a big plus on a short route like this, especially early in the morning when you might want to get a little bit more sleep. There was a big negative to the seat overall though, as you'd have seen from the video, and I found it to be really tight, and it wasn't just me. The two gentlemen sat next to me, I didn't film them for obvious reasons, but you could see they were pretty uncomfortable as well, so that's something to consider. Also bear in mind, if you don't check exactly what Seat has in store for you via the likes of Seat Guru, you might end up like I did with almost a window, but probably it will be classed as not having one, so bear that in mind. If you do like a window view, just double check. Also, the crew would have to say on today's flight, now going back to the positives, they were really professional, very friendly as well. They did engage with the passengers quite frequently, as did the flight deck. They were very talkative. And it was really nice to enjoy a small breakfast snack, a croissant, on today's journey. It just adds a little bit extra when flying over a low-cost airline. So overall, will I choose Air France again in future? Well, yes, I will, because Paris is a large airport, plenty of connections there, but I'd have to say they're probably not my first choice, particularly in the SkyTeam Alliance from Birmingham. KLM, they just edge it for me. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please do leave me a thumbs up by hitting that like button, and if you have any comments, good or bad, leave them in the comment section below. I do read them all. Of course, if you're new here and you'd like to see more videos, please do subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you never miss a future upload. And as always, take care.